All right, everyone, we are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, chief host of the show, and joining me, as always, is none other than my co-host, Avira.
Hello! Well, hello everyone. I hope you are having a fantastic night and or morning, wherever you are in the world, and I'm looking forward to a fantastic show tonight. Hell yeah.
You know it.
Mm-hmm.
Next on the show, is it a bird or is it no? Is it something new we haven't seen before? No, it's our
No,
interim
he's
host,
bird.
Noble.
He's bird.
Very warm.
Wow, dude, I'm loving that new icon. Really cool. What kind of bird is that?
It's a griffin from Second Life.
Oh, incredible. Yo, check that out, guys. That's cool.
I bought it as a Christmas present. It was like $30. Ouch.
Hey, nice.
If it's worth it, by all means. And next on the show, we're pleased to have Beowulf.
Jack of all trades, master of absolutely nothing. I return again.
Again and again and
And
again.
again and again and again.
And that's why we
Oh,
love having
great
you
to
here.
see you.
And next on the show, joining us for the first time, we have Cetacean Lover 23.
Fuck the Dodgers.
You know, funny enough, I was actually thinking of titling this episode Dodger for completely unrelated reasons compared to what you were.
I'm just saying, fuck the Dodgers, the baseball team, because I'm a Giants fan,
Yeah, there you go.
That
Oh.
works.
and fuck the Yankees too.
Whoa there. I agree. Let's go Mets.
Now fuck the Mets too. I'm a Cubs
No,
fan.
fuck you. Yo, the Mets are great. Get real.
Are you sure you're a Cubs fan because they did that in the whole Back to the Future shindig?
They got the year off by one. Cubs won
Yeah,
in
I remember
2016. The movie predicted 2015.
Yeah, I remember that. Had a mate in uni who basically made a ton of money out of it.
Damn.
I digress, though.
I got a puck to the face the other day playing hockey.
Ow.
Ooh, Canadian?
No, I'm Russian. I was born in Russia.
Ah.
Красиво. Очень интересно.
I can't speak, read, write, or understand Russian, dude.
Oh, okay. Well,
He was just born
Russia's cool though. All right, whatever. Anyway, Cetacean. So, because this is your first time on the show, please just tell us something about yourself, about your persona, any hobbies, interests you have. Something like that. Some introduction.
Well, I don't have a persona yet. In fact, to be quite honest with you, I'm not really in any hurry to make one right now because
Okay.
A, I'm busy, and C, I have other shit to do right now, so not really thinking about it.
Okay.
But some hobbies I like to if you don't see the horse or mule in the picture there is my mule. I like to hang out with her every once in a while, go take her for a walk, maybe play some ice hockey, watch baseball, watch hockey, collect old technology because I hate new technology for the most part.
Same. Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool. So you like work with horses and stuff? Like, do you have a farm or like a ranch or something?
I don't have a ranch, but my mule here is at a boarding ranch, so I don't own it, but I do pay to have her there.
Wow, cool. All right, man. Right on.
I'm surprised I haven't gone bankrupt. I'm owning her yet.
Yeah, I'm
It's
sure it could be probably
expensive.
expensive. Yeah.
All right, so let's get started with what we've got for the week, and it's gonna be pretty crazy. So it's this time of year, and there's a day that's coming right up in the air. It's Valentine's Day. Yeah, I know you may have mixed up. Everyone has an opinion about that day. What it means for just but we've got something to show you that's gonna spice up Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Indian curry or something from another nation or whatever.
Good.
I
Oh,
love
this
that.
is from the New York Post. It says, raunchy, new quote-unquote furry toys released just in time for Valentine's Day. That guy's, check this out. This is some cursed-looking plushies that they're trying to promote
Yeah.
I
here.
need bleach now.
Those
And
look
this
like
is from
Yeah,
something
you
that I
definitely
can.
do.
This
Those
is
look like
from the
something
build.
that I can use for like target practice at the shooting range or something.
That's a
Could
good
be, though.
idea.
And
I
this
don't
was
know.
based. And this was
These are
figures
pretty
that,
cursed even for that.
that were made by the Build-A-Bear workshop.
Oh, fuck that place.
That one's more subtle about it. The other one's just like, here you
No.
go.
Well, the images that they're portraying on this article are quite creepy. It says mainstream companies are launching sexy new merchandise seemingly marketed towards the furry subculture just in time for Valentine's Day. No, I don't think so. This is just fucking weird, to be
This is
honest.
just nightmare-inducing.
I think
I-
it was just someone didn't get the memo, and yeah, and then yeah.
Well, let's see what they say about this. Said, is fur real? Mainstream companies are launching sexy new merchandise, all right, marketing towards the furry fandom. Furries are an anthropomorphic community whose members sometimes dress up as animals at conventions, or who have a special fursona, in quotes, with whom they connect. Yeah, that's true.
Right. So,
But
and here's where I want to get to it, though. No doubt, some furries are thrilled that Build-A-Bear, which has been
mm,
selling stuffed teddies for children since 1997, has now developed a raunchy range of after-dark bears for adults ahead of February 14th.
oh
Who
goodness.
said? Who said stuffed animals were just for the kids? Why should they get to have all the fun?
Oh goodness.
Mm,
Apparently, it's got something for everyone. This new gift set.
Yeah, I
So
got
I'm
something for you.
assuming Peter is going to be writing a letter to Build-A-Bear asking them not to use real animal fur when making furry plushies.
That's probably going to be a thing, too.
I
just to
wouldn't be
piss 'em off,
surprised if they already
let's use
did
real
that
fur.
many years ago.
But the fact that somebody recognized that this was catering to furries, I think is very interesting when it comes to the whole idea of furry being mainstream, right? So like this whole stuffed animal thing, they're like, oh well, furries are gonna be into this. Well, I guess they were
No.
correct. No, they are though, because like we're talking about it right now. Like that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't want to get one.
It seems really interesting with the fact that this is coming from a fairly large news corporation
Mm.
posting about
Yeah.
furries, which I mean usually is done in a harmful light because they try to give whatever light they can, usually not a good light. And then they do this, and it's like, wait, you're advertising for furries now? Excuse me?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it used to be like, as you said, a very negative connotation, like what the mainstream media used to portray us as. But now that it's become more popular, more mainstream, more monetization ready, these companies are like, we can cater to furries because furries will pay a bunch of money for some stupid crap that they don't need. And I feel like they're just kind of pandering to us at this point, especially the fact that they literally said this is like for furries, you know?
Yeah, but also, I
Isn't
mean,
that like
I think they're trying to capitalize on that element of Valentine's Day.
That's true. That's very true. The whole
Well,
holiday scam, yeah.
and I feel that the fact that there's been like 4 furry movies in the
Well,
last
not just
6
that, but rather the
months.
whole, the more spicier side of Valentine's Day.
furry
It's not a
has been
secret what
drifting
furries do at
into-
cons. Let's be frank.
Oh, whoa, yeah, you're right.
Like,
Furry
it
has
dare that you
usually
assume
makes
my
the
name. I'm
news
not Frank.
articles in the cities that it's held in.
Furry's been pulled out of the obscure and more into the daylight, kicking and screaming. So seeing something like this is like, I mean, it's ugly looking as fuck, but Eh,
mean,
It could be worse.
I don't.
Okay,
You know what?
ex-
And
okay.
no,
I'm-
it is worse.
And I just want to say, Citation, you're right. It could be worse because we're going to continue on reading this little article because it's going to be worse. And you hit that. So, there's another company out there, BarkBox, that's selling dog products, services, and experiences. Has gone one step further, creating Bark After Dark, a range of unintentionally spicy dog toys designed clearly to appeal to furries. And here is this collection.
Oh, jeez. Yep. Is that
I'm not
Gumball
even sure
right there?
what the hell am I looking at here.
This is Barkshop's Bark After Dark collection, and there's some.
These look like dog toys, honestly.
It
Well,
looks like
that's
totally
Yeah.
what they,
knock
that's
off
what they
crap.
make. They make dog toys, but they're specifically pondering to furries with them.
Look
because
at this.
they
I don't know of a
This particularly
single
one.
I don't
Look
know
at
of a
this
single dog that's in the furry fandom. If there are any, please tell me.
Excuse me, I'm a dog. I'm literally Candy Corn Canine, and I would
talking
love
about
to
a
get
real-
one of these plushies that would like squeak,
I'm
and I would
talking
love
about
it.
I'm talking about a real dog, not a trans dog like you.
Are you assuming my species? Are you
Yes, I
being
am. What
trans
are you gonna do about it?
speciesist?
Yes, I
Yeah,
am. Deal with it.
No, man. I'm saying like
Yeah,
hell. Even dogs would love this. Like that's what I'm saying, dude. Like
All right,
dogs, of
bitches,
course, would love this
bitches,
shit.
please. Bitches,
Well, of
we can
course they
take this
would.
outside, or we can, get on with the program.
I'll get my spray bottle if I have to.
Arf, arf, arf.
All right, so in this collection, they've released the BarkBox. Has released this item, a new one called Murray the Furry.
Why does it have those huge ass golden teeth?
Because it's a frickin' plushie that wears a fursuit.
Or maybe a fursuiter that has a plushie. I don't know, man.
I
It's creepy
mean-
looking.
This seems oddly specifically designed, so
Yes,
I kind of have a feeling
it-
someone on staff is getting made fun
It's
of.
look at this.
Oh god! Oh no!
It's basically
It
a plush
is.
doll
It,
with
it
a-
literally is. Oh god! There's like
I'm-
an internal and external thing.
Yes,
It's like some
that's what I
naked
said.
human.
It's a plushie that wears a fursuit.
Oh,
Is that
I don't like
someone
that.
Is that someone who's got like dwarfinism or something?
Wait, so is this supposed to be
an
marketed to
amputee.
dogs? Are they supposed to like
It's-
rip off the costume and like eat the human? Like what's happening here?
I don't know, and I'm concerned.
Why is it two separate pieces though? Like that's the weird shit about this. Like what? Okay.
Yeah, it's a plushie. with
$15 though.
That's actually a cheap dog toy if it's made.
It is, yeah.
$15.
Yeah, considering it's like those two different things.
Like the squeaky ropes toys that are supposed to last forever are like $50.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, totally. Shit's like 45, 55 bucks. Yeah. And this one for 15, it's like a little human
And then it's
plushie
a huge
inside of a
dump on me.
costume.
Yeah, it's like this. I don't know how to feel about this because this is really creepy.
Yeah, it's
I
so
can
weird,
imagine.
man.
I can imagine people buying that plushie and just keeping it on them on their shelf to sell it like 10 years later.
Just keep it in the packaging and everything else, and just sell it a long time later after like it's become some rare commodity.
If I were to ever get that thing for whatever reason, that thing is either A, going to the shooting range, B, going in the fire pit, or C, both.
I think all of those options are completely valid, and I would also like to do that as well.
Why
Well-
not just
well,
douse
that-
it in vodka and
well-
burn it, sacrificing it to the gods?
Well,
Yo,
that
burn that
or-
shit.
that or I'll have my mule here sodomize it.
That's also a third option, I suppose.
Yeah.
I would not want to give this to my dog because I would be worried about them like tearing the costume off and like choking on it, and then you have like the human plushie with like the head and shit,
There's
just
that
like
too.
shown there on the kitchen floor, and your dog is like, yeah, like just trying to eat it. That'd be weird.
Especially the
Maybe
dogs
maybe it's
that
worth
don't know
$15.
what. Especially the dogs that don't know when or don't know what to eat and what not to eat.
I think it would probably just hump it.
Well, knowing dogs, yeah.
So what do you guys
Oh
think
my-
of all this? Was it really a curse? Do you think it's really such a curse that these companies have to do this and try to go down this route?
Well,
I think it's
considering
ridiculous.
that they
Or is
make it such a low price, I feel like they probably did make a lot of sales. Like, hey, it's only $15, go for it. And then they don't care about the consequences or like whatever happens
Well,
afterwards.
you know what? It's so funny. I think it's also great that because they're being a bit cheeky about what furries really, really, really are, despite the fact that furries are just they're just trying to keep that thing on the down low. When in fact, come on, let's be honest. It's no secret that deep down, you know,
Oh no,
you're-
do you think this is some kind of like secret like propaganda conspiracy where they're trying to train animals to hate furries and rip their fursuits off their human bodies and just like devour them?
well, not quite. You
Ooh.
remember the whole the Build a Bear thingos that were
Yeah.
specifically themed for the raunchier side of Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
I
you're forgetting
suppose.
though that bears and that have been used for Valentine's gifts for a long time were like plushies and that shit.
Hmm. Yeah. So what are they trying to get at here by releasing these things?
Not sure. I guess just monetary reasons, trying to pander, as
Or
they do.
basically, tell furries, get out there and be open about all the sexy times you have.
Well, to be honest,
No.
why wouldn't a company take advantage of this sort of thing anyway? I mean, it's not exactly new. It's a
Yeah, I
market
mean-
that's generally untapped, at least commercially.
Outside of movies, yeah. I mean, and also it's not like you have a small audience. That article references there's at least a quarter million furries in the United States because it talks about the United States market basically.
Right.
So it's
That
not
is
like it's not like it's a small market. You could theoretically have a large market asset there.
That's a very good point. There is a substantial market of furries in the United States specifically, but I would say overall, I feel like there's less than 1 million furries in the entire globe. The vast majority are in the United States, in Europe, and I would say East Asia, like Japan and Australia and stuff like that.
Canada's got a good chunk too. Let's not forget.
I mean,
what
still,
about-
They
even
do.
if there
They,
are
they have
1 million,
Vancouver, stuff like that. No, I think it's way less than 1 million, dude. Honestly, I think the vast majority, like, it's probably around 600,000 furries at most in the entire world.
yeah, but I mean,
I don't
even,
know
even if you
about
think of
that.
that.
I think
If
so.
you sold to, let's say, a sixth of those, one of those furry toys for a dog, their dog or whatever. I mean that's still $1 million.
That's a lot, yeah, for sure.
It's not like that your market is microscopic. You're dealing with people who have ridiculous amounts of wealth that they like to throw around at random things
Or-
that they find interesting.
It's
Bad
that or
dragon.
just disposable income.
Possibly.
All right. I mean, being what it is, though, it's I guess it's just them seeing a capital opportunity to capitalize on that side of the market. Would I ever buy one of those? No. But yeah,
Good boy.
Scared. I'd have
I
nightmares.
probably wouldn't either.
I think
Yeah.
I'll save my money for like a I don't know, another Walkman or something.
definitely.
Yeah, there you go.
So, next thing on the docket, something that's been irking us for quite some time. is the Lord of the Rings. Is an update for the Lord of the Rings, and I just want to start with this statement: we was elves, and we held the reins of power.
I will admit right now, I know absolutely nothing about the Lord of the Rings. I
How
watched
in
it
the
early.
bonkers?
I mean,
Wait,
I watched the movies growing up with my family, but I was hardly paying attention.
Yeah, like
Lord of the Rings is like a classic, like the fantasy bar that every other fantasy is like held to.
and they draw their inspiration from. Now I
Oh
get it.
yeah,
When you were young, like you tend to skip over a lot of the finer details and everything and the elements. I get that. Completely fine. But now in this modern era, Amazon's releasing a new series, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. And what's irksome about this is just the way that they're handling this. So now, like, I want to start with this. In this modern era of woke Hollywood, Prime Video's Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, executive Lindsay Weber explained in a pop piece for Vanity Fair that the show altered and race swapped multiple characters in order to, quote unquote, reflect what the world actually looks like.
What? What time period does this take place in?
this is in the Second Age in Middle Earth.
And you must realize that Lord of the Rings is a work of fiction that's completely detached. It's completely detached from matters of the real world.
Have they been making their own shit up?
They took some quote unquote creative liberty when they were using some of the source material and then trying to like recreate some storylines for the Second Age in this new series. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
So, someone who's really not interested in watching it anyway, I'm assuming they've gone woke and inverted themselves about a dozen times.
They did, and here's the thing. Um, I'm not sure if you saw like the original Lord of the Rings movies back in like 2000, 2001, 2002, stuff like
I
that.
did, yes.
Right, of course.
I
And
have access
now
to them.
I'm sure. Were you offended that they didn't have a racial diversity of casts? Because here's the thing in Middle Earth.
No.
They exactly. They use different races like orcs and elves and dwarves and wizards and ents, hobbits, all kinds of different races of people. And the problem that a lot of these woke SJW motherfuckers try to do is they say, well, why aren't there any black elves? Where are the whammons? But that's not, that has nothing to do with the fantasy story at all. It just
Yeah, I
doesn't.
mean,
Like
if
these are not humans that we're talking about. In many cases, they're either dwarves or orcs or elves or whatever. Like they're not supposed to be humans. And even some of the humans that we do meet, they're fair skinned. But that has nothing really to do with the story.
yeah, and another thing is that I personally have no issue of what color skin any of these actors have. If they can do the part well, then good on them. However, the moment that they start highlighting their skin color, that's where I say, okay, I don't give a shit.
Yes, well, I absolutely agree with you in that regard. But here's the thing too. In the story, Tolkien did describe what the races were supposed to look like. And, in any other franchise, I've been very vocal about this before, how I don't give a flying bonkers about like what your skin color is as long as you're a good actor and you can portray the character well. But when it comes to like the context of the story, there are no dark-skinned elves. Like there
Mhm.
just aren't, and the fact that they want to inject that and try to change the story to make it like that. Well, as a Tolkien fan, how are you going to rectify that? How are you going to retcon the fact that there are, like a black Galadriel or something like that? That just doesn't make sense. Like
Avira,
it just doesn't.
The best part is if they do it in such a bad way, they can make it seem really, really racist.
No, I know, but that's the thing. Like they really shouldn't care about race. They should be caring more about the story and like trying to be true to that.
Telling stories died in 2016 when everything
I
became
know,
Yeah.
I know, man, and that's such a bummer because like Peter Jackson's original like trilogy of Lord of the Rings, in my opinion, was one of the greatest movies ever created. It was a masterpiece. It really was. And he didn't care about this whole woke politics. Oh, it has to be racially diverse or whatever. No, he was true to the story. He was true to the content, and he did an incredible job. You know, it's one of the greatest movies of all time.
I mean, um, I personally, like I said, I know very little about the Lord of the Rings, but given when these stories were made at that time, being worried about what color the skin of some of these characters were was not even thought of. Nobody cared.
Exactly. Yeah, dude, you're damn right. But here's the thing too. As you said, during that time when the story was made. Now, let's say if you're talking about something like, I don't know, Mulan, it's a bunch of Asian characters. Well, I wouldn't want some, Indian or black characters, portraying, you know, Asian samurais or whatever. That just wouldn't make sense. You have to like be historically correct. And when it comes to
Mhm.
Middle Earth, that's a whole fantasy world. And there are certain races of people that are portrayed in a certain way. So I think race has very little to do with it at all. It should be the best character for the job, but also be respectful of the original content. Because in Middle Earth, I know you said like you're not super into like Middle Earth like lore and stuff, but the
Mhm.
the Haradrim, they were the servants of Sauron, like in the south. So they were darker skinned people. So if they want to do that in like the new Netflix series, have like the Haradrim, like the people who rode elephants, they might be darker skinned individuals. But most of the main characters, they are fair skinned, and I really don't see a problem with that because like I really don't care about your skin color at all. Like that doesn't really make a difference. But like when it comes to being faithful to Tolkien lore, you gotta be faithful to that if you actually want to make something successful. Peter
Yeah. So
Jackson's Lord of the Rings was definitely successful.
See, the thing
so
that a lot of people don't realize is that by actually doing this sort of thing, you just show where your insecurities lie.
Yeah.
mhm.
Have a
and
look at
so
this behind the scenes photograph.
This is something very interesting. I like this, and here's what I was saying earlier about the Haradrim. The Southerners from Far Harad. These are the darker skinned humans that were more tribalistic, that were more aligned to Sauron. So something like this, I can totally see happening in like Far Khand or Rune or Harad or one of those regions. This is actually really cool. And it almost looks like on the right, that's a dwarf, maybe. I'm not
I mean,
sure.
I gotta admire them for the use of props.
Yeah, totally.
Freaking
That's
antler
incredible.
wings and stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
So, I mean, that aside, like the whole the creative liberty stuff is both, an up and a
Hmm.
curse, like, especially when you're trying to remain
Yeah,
faithful to the adaptation.
right.
I
Yeah,
mean,
of course.
really, this reminds me a lot of what it was a few years back that they had to reword stuff in D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, because heaven forbid the rules described something accurately. It was something that there wasn't like what I think it was something super trivial, and I don't remember what it was exactly, but it was like, oh, heaven forbid we follow the lore of the character that's been the lore since the 1970s and change it because some generation of people 30 years, 40 years later doesn't like that wording.
Oh wow. Yeah, Dungeons and
I
Dragons
wish
did have its
I wish I
own.
could remember what it was, but it was like one of it was one of the bad guys that was in like a pre-made dungeon or something, or it was like one of the races didn't because in Dungeons and Dragons I don't remember if it's orcs or ogres, but there's no females because that's part of the lore of the species. Because they're
Oh,
a
it got
magical
worse than
species.
that.
And they're
Man,
like,
it
oh,
got
we
way
can't
worse
do
than
that. But yeah, people don't care about the lore. They care about, oh, look at us. We're racially equal and everything else. It's screw story and everything else. Then let's make it look good. Let's ponder to the woke crowd. It's exactly the same way that Star Wars went.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good
And
point.
it's infuriating.
So when is this supposed to be released?
I believe September.
Can we just
September
wait
2022.
until then to see how badly it bombs?
Well, so far, here's the thing, man. Like, I am a very big fan of Lord of the Rings. I read all the books. I watched all the movies many times. Hell, me and my friends had like Lord of the Rings extended edition, like sleepovers. And I'm very hopeful for this series. The fact that they have like tens of millions of dollars in their production, I really hope it goes well. Even if they're casting some elves as different races that they shouldn't be, that's pandering. That's some political nonsense. I'm not really sure what that's all about. But
I mean,
if
they
you
were
were
trying to
able to
say
tell a
like,
good story, then I would totally be on board with that. For now, I'm not sure. It looks like the characters, it looks like the development, the design looks pretty good, high production. I'm hoping it works out.
That's the big thing, is that if they stay true to the story, it's not a problem.
Exactly.
It's when if
Right.
they start injecting stuff and forcing stuff and changing rules and bending this and bending that to ponder to a different crowd than what it's always been about, then I feel that it's probably not going to do very well.
And also, pandering to a crowd who, statistically speaking, in the entire world is like a very small minority. They just seem like they're big because they're extremely vocal.
They probably won't even watch your movie, to be honest.
Probably.
Just they're there to voice their opinion because they want their opinion to be heard.
Which they have every right to do, but I also have every right to not care about their opinion.
Exactly.
yeah. So I
Okay.
think all we can do is just play the waiting game, see what's new, what's coming up. Because again, like for something,
what
this is a
train
very
wrecks
big.
happen.
This is very reputational. Not just for Amazon, but for the whole set of Lord of the Rings. So, yeah.
I just hope I hope that they do Galadriel well, because she is one of my favorite characters in the entire Legendarium, and Galadriel is a badass elf queen. She really is incredible. Man, I hope she does well.
I'm
I hope
sniffing a
whoever
Sharpie
plays
right
her.
now.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we take a turn and things from here are gonna go even more downhill as an indictment of the state of the friggin' world. What's next? Apparently, Apple decided that, men can swap out babies now. What the heck?
Oh yes, this is a good one.
Pregnant man in-person emoji added to Apple iPhone.
All right, look, I get it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the actor, he was in a movie. It was 1994. He was basically played as a man who gave birth to a child. The movie's called Junior. Yes, I know that movie exists. We don't need to make emojis for it.
Yeah, exactly. Men can't get pregnant though. Why is Apple doing this?
But they can
is-
because you have to be woke enough to believe it.
Yeah,
Because they
but
confuse the
I'm
idea
also
of
like, but science though, like men.
Yes,
Okay, so
biology says you
It's
cannot.
science.
let's say if a guy gets pregnant, what is he gonna like blow his load and like have a baby?
Is
Is that how it is now?
BP.
That's kind of fucked.
This
Yeah.
this might come from the argument that all these these wackos like to say, well, some men can get pregnant, and
No, they
yes,
can't.
some, and
No.
but that is a genetic mutation that happens before you are born. It is incredibly rare.
Men
Well,
can't
that
get
aside,
pregnant.
the variables aside, I think let's focus on what really they're trying to do with this. Is that they're
Well,
trying
yeah.
to push to include everyone in pregnancy. And again, like friggin' biology aside, here's what the the mental gymnastics of our era says. Emojipedia said that in a blog post, these figures may be used for representation by trans men, non-binary people, or women with short hair. But of course, use of these emojis not
Women,
these.
what?
So
Women with short
basically,
hair?
all right, yeah. So basically, confused women who get pregnant and call themselves men because I guess they have penis envy or something.
They hate
They're
men
just
to
like
enough to the point where they want to be men, but at the same
exactly,
time,
yeah,
they
yeah.
they want to
They
use their
have the,
feminine.
as the Greeks would say, penis envy. So these they get pregnant. They're like, "Oh, I identify as a man," but no, bitch, you're a woman. You're getting pregnant. Y'all got a baby. All right, you're a woman. All right, stop hating yourself.
Yeah, use your friggin' God-given pussy for something good.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. God-given pussy. Hell yes. That's really what it is. Why is Apple doing this? Like, what are they trying to achieve here? Are they trying to pander to like the woke lefty mob that just
Well, they're
thinks
Apple,
that
of course
know-
they are.
if I identify as a fucking Apache attack helicopter, I can make some fucking Apache babies? Like,
It's
what
Apple.
is this?
You
It's
answered
very
your
simple.
own question. It's Apple. They are always pondering to the woke.
It's very simple. It's Silicon Valley. I live in Silicon Valley. Sadly, it's just what they do. They pander to the woke.
When I first saw this, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, wait a minute. A pregnant man emoji. Think about how fucking stupid that sounds. A pregnant man emoji. Right? Like,
And
doesn't that sound like some Babylon Bee shit?
well,
Right? Like, it fucking
honestly-
does, doesn't it? Like,
But
that's
honestly,
such a joke.
Babylon Bee's been better at predicting the future than news agencies
Yo,
have been, so
Yeah, they really have, though, haven't they? So, exactly. Like, when I saw this, I'm like, come on, this isn't real. Apple's not gonna have a pregnant man. Like, that's crazy. Why would they do that?
You forgot one important thing. It's Apple. The little
And
company
then it
that
happened.
you're
I know,
holding it
dude.
from.
And then it fucking happened, and that's what blew my mind. I'm like, wow. So this was actually not a joke. These people actually think this is a thing.
See,
Man, you know what I'm gonna do from now on? I'm going to use that pregnant man emoji in my comments, unironically, and I'll see how people respond to it.
see, this is the thing I like about Apple. You're holding it wrong. Now you're thinking it wrong.
Yeah, wrong thing.
I mean, honestly, I
But
could
I'm
see
bummed.
like a couple of like your typical bro guys using that after they go to Chipotle or something, being like, "Man, I ate this so much."
That's exactly what the next thing was. They're gonna say that this could be depicted as a food baby.
Oh,
You
oh
know,
my
Oh, God.
goodness.
if also, if because we're furries and we like certain, things that you can't explain, a certain subgroup would love to use this emoji a lot because of a certain interest they have with eating.
Yes, I understand where you're coming from, and I don't want to venture down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
The other thing is that this could also be used by the gay community in the gay community in general for after having fun.
So, what would this
Wait,
be like the whole
implying
pregnant
that
man
they're
emoji? Are they gonna call
No.
themselves like sponges and like make like an asexual type of
No, they're
creation or
just,
whatever?
they got really full after having intimate
After a
time.
party.
Oh, more! Oh God,
No,
no!
no,
You
no.
went
yeah, doing
there.
the Nazis.
Something else.
Yeah, doing the Nazis
You
German
got what
style. Yeah.
Jolt was going after.
I did it in a subtle way to make sure not to say that word. Okay.
Ah, sorry. I had to though. Like that's what we're all thinking.
Yeah, the dirty Germans are in town.
Well, I think we're on to the next form of
Kitsune
that.
got it.
All I have to say about this thing is that truly we
Yeah, dude. There you go. Now, here's the
Mhm.
thing, guys. I want to ask you a very serious question. About 4 years ago, if somebody told you that there would be a pregnant man emoji, what would you say to that?
I would say, "Fuck you,
4
get out
years
of my
ago,
face, or I'll
yeah,
burn you at the stakes."
Like, it
You
sounds
know,
like a
there's a
joke,
meme.
right?
There's a meme.
4
to
years
this
ago, I
thing.
would have expected that to
Okay,
be
what is it, Joel?
commonplace.
There's a meme that says like 1970, 1972. In 50 years' time, we would have space travel. We'd be living on the moon, and in 2022, we get this.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
We get this shit.
The,
Like,
the
dude,
expectations were too high.
Uh huh.
a pregnant man emoji. This is like an official thing that millions of people, probably billions of people across the entire world are seeing now. How in the fuck does that make sense?
And
I have
also
to
on
wonder
top of
how
that,
It doesn't.
does Apple think that the majority of the population even cares about this at all? Because
Well,
they
they're
don't.
probably going to make fun of the emoji.
I don't know
Right,
what
so-
the hell they're thinking.
One of the concerns I have with this emoji is it being used to target religious groups.
You think
Okay,
Apple
People
cares
who are
about that?
religious as a form of harassment.
How so?
Well, how do you think Muslim community is going to feel if all their if they got a billboard up at a business or
Well,
something, mosque,
is,
and people just
is,
start spamming pregnant man emojis onto it?
well, Islamic communities, especially in Iran, have not been very accommodating towards LGBT. In fact, if you're homosexual, it's illegal in about
mean,
11
referring
nations right now.
I think here's the thing.
in America
With
and in Australia.
You understand that those Hindu, Buddhist, Islamic communities, they're more. It's not that they're intolerant. It's more that they're really, really, really conservative.
No,
Traditional.
they just want to kill us. That's pretty much it.
Well, that too, but that's
Not all of
besides
them.
the point.
11 of them.
But at the end
And
of the day,
I,
it's just
I
basically-
highly doubt that like nations like Iran would want to have this type of emoji
If
in
any,
their
it would be
their
Iran
thing.
would be laughing at the friggin' United States for coming up. with
Yeah,
this
you're
shit.
right. They would.
They
It's
probably
a
are
laughing
right
stock.
now.
They're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, really? A pregnant man? Like, they are definitely laughing at how woke and stupid people have gotten in this culture." Totally.
Yep. So while countries like Russia and China are taking over other countries, America is making pregnant man emojis.
Yeah.
Gotta have
Yep.
priorities.
Because
Yeah.
our priorities are jacked up, to say the least.
That's so
Mhm.
messed up, and you're. Oh my god. Yeah, it's true, man.
All right. So now we're going to go through open up another new rabbit hole. But we're going to ask you a question first. If you had stolen $80,000 and ran away with it, what would you do with it?
Adopt one of the horses at the horse ranch I'm at because that horse and I have become very close, and her legal owner doesn't give two shits about her.
I would find one of those hidden Australian towns and try to live there for the rest of my natural life off that money.
Werewolf?
I would invest and pay off my debts and probably buy some stuff because I'm taking a new journey in life. So,
Joe,
money would be nice, but
did you say?
I mean, 80 grand could get me a lot.
Yeah,
The
if you
vintage
stole,
Kenwood stereo.
Steel, right?
yeah, if you stole $80,000 and
Yeah,
ran away with it.
I'd go and hide.
Yeah, you'd hide your money in an offshore bank account or in cryptocurrencies or tangible assets.
Well, I
And
Or
wouldn't
go the
steal
old-fashioned
that
route and
from
just bury it
people
in the
that
ground.
I know. That's for sure.
Yeah, heaven forbid you'd steal that from a group, your like most closely associated group or anything.
Oh well,
Yeah.
who's done that recently?
Right.
That
and
would
what
be
we-
Denver.
Not just once. Not just
Hmm.
once.
Yeah, there we go. So check
Yes,
out Denver, guys. This is
what we're looking
pretty
at is
scary.
the the head owners of Denver Corgi Events' Corey Wood, aka Treble Van Doren, has gone into a court case where he has a tax warrant for $47,199 of tax, $22,000 on interest, and a penalty of $17,000. Which, if you do the math, would make him amount to owing $86,000 in tax, $556.85.
Right. So at the end of the day, for those of you who are listening, this is basically con staff who are stealing money from people, using it for their own personal benefits, and nobody gets a refund, or at least they're trying not to.
Look, I'm pretty
And
sure.
there's a legal case in regards to this.
Are
Yeah.
we really
Might
surprised
stem
by this
from-
at all, though?
I mean,
We should be
already-
because no, we really should be because people who run conventions, they should be more responsible with how they handle finances and how they interact with their constituents.
But it's just
Unfortunately,
human
this
nature.
is
We're
not the
greedy.
case.
The only problem I have with going about that is the fact that people went full in on 5 conventions that are run essentially by the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
who was
yeah.
already proven, well, not proven guilty because it was settled out of court, therefore there's no public record of it, about embezzling money. So
Yeah.
This was based on trust, yeah. No, like it was based on trust, and here's the thing. I probably, if I didn't know about this before, like hearing about it, yeah, I probably would have donated to them too, and I would have loved to go to this. I did go to Denver last summer with Fox and the rest of the Raiders, but
Yeah,
the thing is,
you
like,
guys-
I didn't realize that this person was actually embezzling money in the way that this happened. Like, this is actually kind of fucking crazy.
Well,
When
yeah,
you look
but
at
it
the
was
$75,000 expenditure, like, how in the fuck did that even happen?
All right. Let me.
And
introduce you to what-
even better, they got rid of all their staff who they also scammed
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, like I just heard, all of the staff involved were dismissed, but I would want
Yep,
to,
they were
want to
all
introduce
dismissed,
you
fired.
to the dipshit and what he does.
Yep,
Behold, your
Check this out.
convention chair.
this is insane, guys.
Can you enlarge
This is
that?
what Denver staff is all about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
can you
can't
see
read
this?
that because I'm just using my phone right now.
Can you see this?
Can you
I'm not-
enlarge? Joel, can you open that picture so we can see it better?
Frug, hang on.
Should just be able to click on it.
Yeah, I do. It's just not showing up, is it?
No, it's not enlarging it for whatever reason.
Okay, no. But what we basically have is a fat ass who's drinking on the front, the porch of his house, low class whiskey.
Yep. Yeah, bottom shelf shit.
Mm-hmm.
But he
Yeah.
also stole tens of thousands of dollars, though.
And this
Like,
is
what
a person
the fuck?
who
For a
spent
second, here's the thing that no one seems to understand. It's the fact that this is the second time he's embezzled money and gotten caught.
And this is a person who spent 6 years doing a master's in business management, and this is what he gets out of his studies.
Well, that's probably how he was able
Learned
to
how to
know how to
embezzle
scam
from a-
people, right?
Fursuit
Well,
maker, and then he
wait, hang
embezzles
on.
a convention.
Wait, hang on. If he's done this before, how was he able to get the same exact job in the
No.
future?
He embezzled
well.
40K from a fursuit maker.
Yep.
Oh,
That
Okay.
case was settled out of court. So we have no public record of what the actual verdict was because they dropped all the charges after it was settled out of court.
Yeah, but a lot of us know about that whole situation, how that happened.
That was
But a little while
$40,000.
later, yeah,
Then
that was
all of
40
a
grand.
sudden, poof! Hey, there's 5 conventions that are all for-profit conventions. They're not non-profits. They're all for-profit.
Look, I have no problem with a convention being for profit. In fact, I think that most cons really should be for profit. That's my own thing. The fact that the whole for profit thing, that he took that money personally, I have a problem with that. That he didn't give it back to the community. No, when I think of a for profit convention, I think we should gain money and then redistribute it to our own members. Stuff like that. Make the
Mhm.
fandom better. It shouldn't be in the pockets of the dudes who run it. I mean, maybe a little
And-
bit, yeah, of course, because they took time and effort. I get that. But no, like if you have a crap ton of funds left over, yeah, absolutely help
And
the furry fandom. That's what you gotta fucking do. Like
here's the
easy.
thing, that what they were trying to do was to try and centralize the convention scene into one umbrella, and
Well, that's what
Yeah,
they
just-
did. There was Denver, and there was a
he
Quadifer
ran
were under
trying to
that
get like
umbrella.
7 cons under his umbrella.
And after that
Painted Desert,
happened, he
Quadifer.
expanded into more cons. It was like
Mhm.
literally 2018. It was 2 cons, and then it was
Yeah.
2019 was 4 cons, and then they doubled and expanded. They used all that money to go into all these other cons, so they could get even more money. But then, well, the cons became a con. The conventions became a con to loop back into him making more money.
Ooh, someone's dialing their phone.
Sorry, I'm using my flip phone. Whenever I text it, it makes a beep.
Can't you
It's
disable
so
that
very
feature?
old-fashioned. I remember
Probably not.
those doot beep. Those. I would have thought you were trying to have like an old-fashioned phone, but
See, this is the thing I really enjoy, where the guy running Denver had the opportunity to
Mhm.
try to stretch things out, but instead he's just been incredibly greedy.
Yeah, he really had.
But I
usually
mean,
it's a little
I mean, dude,
different
a
strategy.
$75,000 expenditure though. Like, what in the fuck are you spending that money on? Like, really? Are you buying a new fucking Ferrari? Like, what in the crap is happening here?
I could
maybe he
understand
bought the
for-
Titanic
Where did that
too.
money go?
I could understand if he
mystery.
was paying himself 2 to 3 times the normal wage that he should be receiving for doing all the work. But this literally just shows money grab.
Yeah, totally. Totally, it does.
This screams, like smash and grab, because there's lots of theories floating around about what's going to happen and all sorts of other stuff. Because the article that came out that's like, oh, everything's fine, was literally like panic, throw something together, throw it out so no one sees
Oh.
anything.
and get this. Now, people are now also saying in the convention scene, that the organizers called you events.
Yeah,
What's
Corgi
happened.
events. Yeah.
Now, please, like they're trying to, launder money from the dealers. Basically, run the con and use it as a money laundering scheme to get, so that like I said, this is why we were asking, what would you do if you stole 80 grand?
Right, and as far as I know from Corgi dealers, are they trying to refund people that have tried to pay for them or like donated or whatever? I thought there was something about this where they're trying to like refund them, right?
Well, they can't, like Treble or whoever's left on his staff. I
Yeah.
don't even know who's actually still left. Is like, if you guys really feel the need, you can get a refund by messaging
That's
basically
what.
me
Yeah,
at this website, and it's like
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, like you can get like a refund if you did donate to that and you felt some type of way about Corgi
Or
dealers.
or use a chargeback. But now the thing is, like, The con owner is planning to steal money from Eventbrite sales, far from bankruptcy and bail.
Wow. Wow. It says, I'm incredibly sorry. I really wish I wasn't pressured to send out the Denver acceptance early. I had no idea it would be to make money for personal issues. Again, I'm so sorry. Do not send any money to this convention. Okay. Yeah, I see that. And that is one of the main issues that was being discussed before. That they had no issue about sending money. I don't know about that. It's complicated.
But
mean,
I think this is
To
basically
be honest here,
You go on.
Yeah.
To be honest here, I'm not surprised that that all this went down, because it's just, I mean, if anyone has even the slightest understanding of the most basic human nature, is that some people who are in these positions of power will at some point abuse it in some form.
I totally get that, man, and I agree as well. I didn't think that was going to happen either, especially like with Denver, one of the biggest cons out there. But the fact that that this actually fucking happened.
I mean, you're talking like a top 10 con, like out of the gate.
Yeah,
it replaced
exactly.
the top 10 con, which was
like this is one of the top. Exactly.
That was shady. When Denver just was like, "Oh, RMFC's canceled. Hey, here's our con." That was like,
Yep. So, in that perspective, they totally just stepped in when RMFC was no longer a thing, and then they tried to do it too. But the same kind of corruption happened. I mean, what the fuck? I really hope that everybody got refunded from making these silly investments. It's unfortunate,
who
but
wanted them at least, because there's still quite a few people who are all for it, but it's like,
yeah, I know.
Eh,
But it's not going to happen though. Like, that's the thing. And if you invested like a couple of $100, you know,
well, I mean,
yeah,
like Denver tables, I think for the dealer's den were like $350 easy.
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, they totally fucking were.
I think at the end of the day, this basically is an indictment regarding the state, the overall health of the convention scene.
Yeah,
And, and the friggin' leaders, and what have you.
Like, I think it's also something that this is going to be something that people are going to be like, "Where's my money really going?" kind of thing. Because when you start hearing numbers at like convention closing and stuff, people are going to start doing math and start thinking about this, like, where'd my money really go?
yeah.
They're going to start looking into stuff, and they're going to see perhaps this convention that they've been attending for 5-6 years is actually really corrupt.
Dude, I know. Like, that's exactly how it is.
Profit, they could be extremely wasteful with that money.
Right, and see, that's why I'm an advocate for profit cons. I really am, because like at least in that regard, you know where your money's going. Like, you know exactly who gets it and stuff. Like, that's all public information, or at least it should be.
Well,
but this nonprofit stuff, I'm gonna donate it to a charity, but maybe they'll take off like 15% for themselves. You know, it's a little bit more shady when it comes to nonprofit shit. It might be a more generous gesture, but at the end of the day, you really don't know where your money's going, right?
Which is unfortunate.
It is, yeah, it really is.
All right, so just a couple more minutes. I think we've got enough to cover one last little segment, and this is why our community has just in this state of era. So, to give you a bit of context, before our community has stepped in, just to give you a bit of context, this happened a week ago. Right, a library, a mayor in Mississippi has withheld funds from a public library, $110,000 of it, because simply on the basis of his personal religious beliefs. All well and good. And then, and he would only release that money if all this questionable books, all this LGBT book material was basically cleansed from the library, right, on the basis of his personal beliefs.
So this mayor basically, his whole
Gene McGee.
statement was he wanted to be against any kind of homosexual material. So it's Ridgeland Mayor Gene McGee.
Yeah.
Is withholding $110,000 of funding from the Madison County library system, allegedly on the basis of his personal religious beliefs.
Yeah.
With
And so where this
with library officials saying that he demanded the system initiate a purge of LGBT books before his office
and
released the
so
money.
where things do get a bit more complicated is that it's a public library. They're there to
Yeah.
to serve the entire community, and the library said our collection reflects the diversity of our community, and so that's why they kept the books around. And basically, like when it really comes to it, though, it's your library. You put the books you want to put in, but
Right. But he is the mayor of the town, so I don't know what type of authority he has. But he also didn't want the LGBT queer books or whatever. I'm not a fan of censorship or book burning at all.
Agreed.
But yeah, like seriously, man, like that's not cool. I think any kind of information should be publicly available to everybody. If you don't agree with it, if it's offensive or if it's controversial, or even if it just has some basic facts about nature or whatever, I think that information really should be public for everybody to be able to consume and learn about. You
And
know,
also,
that's fine.
if this person is in a position of government, shouldn't he uphold like constitutional values like freedom of speech, freedom of stuff like that?
I think so, yeah. And this is where I kind of have a little bit of a discrepancy because he's a Republican and he doesn't want to have this type of material, being spread around.
Right.
But political party regardless, information is information. Political party really doesn't have anything to do with that. And if some author wants to talk about how great it is to be gay or whatever, or if some furry wants to, publish a book, sure, go for it.
Or even if or even if like a KKK member wants to make a TV series, let them.
Sure, absolutely.
You
Yeah,
don't have
I
to
support that
it,
as well.
Just let them.
No. Well, I support the freedom to do that. Like I said, First Amendment. That's what we have. That's one of our great freedoms here in America. And if some KKK person wants to, I don't know, like write a book or whatever, sure, go for it. You do you. And then the free market will decide if it's good or not, depending on how many people actually buy it. I'm not going to buy it. Maybe not.
A free
But,
market issue. Guys, this isn't a free
right.
market issue.
This
It's a
isn't.
public
No, it's not.
it's a
This is not a free
community
market.
issue.
Right.
Like,
This is about some governor or some mayor trying to censor books. And furries are actually taking a step up because it's the whole anti-LGBT thing.
Right. And so that's when things get complicated. Go ahead.
Because here's the problem that I have specifically with this article. I fully agree with Avira on this. It's my issue is specifically with the article because I think that you should be completely free to get whatever you want from the library. You want to get Mein Kampf from the frickin' library? Go ahead. I don't care. You want to get the Communist Manifesto? I don't care.
Yeah.
But you should have every source of information possible that not every library is going to cover 2 city blocks. So I feel that if you're going to have certain books, you need to have other certain books that kind of balance it out. That's weight and balance.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't agree with him withholding the funding because he doesn't like these books. But my issue when I read through this article was that
they also were talked about the what was it?
So let's go through this one bit by bit. And so, when the
Yeah.
furries came in, what actually happened, and then one furry comes in, goes in there and says, oh, this is a serious, serious matter. Oh, and get this though. And in the case of, before I do that though, ask a question: who would win? A bunch of internet furries throwing that money, or or the mayor?
I think the furries would win.
Just because they have that expendable income that they're willing to
Right.
donate to good
And
causes
because
that they want.
they're backing on the whole SJW type of narrative that, oh well,
Right.
this is what we should be, and this person trying to censor stuff, especially when it comes to LGBT, they're more of like a protected class at this point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because
I
I'm
personally have no issue with that at all. Like hell,
I mean,
promote your books. Exactly.
It's okay to be upset by this, but to treat it like it's a national or international catastrophe is a bit of a stretch.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. It is, and I'm upset by the fact that censorship in regards to books is even happening right now in the
Mhm.
21st century.
There
Y'all
is
remember
a
way back in
specific
fucking
book that everyone wants to
1937
get rid of.
when they were burning books, like the fucking Nazis did that. I'm not about destroying information. Hell, I could, I would like to buy the Communist Manifesto and Mein Kampf at the same time, and also Catcher in the Rye or like Harry Potter, whatever the books I want to read. Like-
Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, anything really. Like I really think that freedom of expression should be universal. It shouldn't have anything to do with politics or like burning books or banning certain information from libraries. That is really sick to me. Even though he's a Republican and I happen to personally be like on the right side or whatever, I don't agree with that. I think
Okay,
censorship
so-
is really bad.
For me, I believe this politician picked the wrong battle.
You're right.
Well, I
He did.
agree
Probably,
those
yeah.
books should not be there. What he should have done was instead get a list of all the books, identify the ones that are adult orientated, so basically just sex or pornography, or the pedophilia books, because there are a number of LGBTQ plus and woke books that are in fact pedophilia.
True.
And
True.
states
There are.
that he will not release the funding until the books that promote material that's unacceptable by
To
what
be
you
in a public
consider
environment,
normal
yeah.
standards to be removed from the library.
Well,
Instead of
Noble,
saying plus, but
I-
list this book is basically like a 60-year-old man and a 14-year-old girl having sex. This book is inappropriate.
Okay,
This
well,
is basically about like the Kama Sutra, except for modern day. Probably not acceptable in a library like this.
in that case, Noble, I would absolutely agree with you. Like, it should be like the restricted section of like Hogwarts, where
Mhm.
there's like the dark information, or certain books that have those type of stories. Relegated
Consider it
to
like
a different part.
Consider it
Yeah.
the deep web of the other library.
Yeah,
Kind of like the
something that
deep web, yeah,
something that you
Yeah.
have to place behind lock and key.
yeah, exactly.
And
Or
and
even
you
like
can't access
or,
it without
or
permission.
God forbid you have like a pro Trump book, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need a security clearance to be able to get your hands on a copy of it.
Yeah, like that shouldn't be banned. People have their own opinions, and I think that should be respected. It really should.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is very
I don't care who you voted for. I really fucking don't. But like, if you are an author and you have your own opinions, all right, cool. Like, you shouldn't be
Don't jam them
banned.
down other people's throats. Is my
No.
biggest thing. Unless that's what
No,
your
no,
book's
no,
about,
no.
then
Not-
go
not-
ahead,
not-
write
not-
your book about that.
Yeah, exactly. Not jam it down people's throats, but be able to have a platform to express your opinions in the way that you want to. Hey, this is what I think, and I hope that I can, get other people to look into a different perspective. I think that's very respectable.
It's also just
banning books is
basic
not
human
okay.
decency too.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. Banning books is not okay in my opinion. It's really not. I don't care what the fuck your politics or ideology is. Hell, I could read anything, and I'm not gonna get offended or try to ban it because it, whatever. I'm not
Like
about
Dr.
that.
Seuss.
The thing
Exactly.
that
Right? Dude, exactly. They tried to do that to Dr. Seuss. They tried to ban his books because all of these stupid political nonsense. But he's a classical children's author. Yeah, he did have some of his crazy opinions, which I'm sure we all know about. But so?
That was just the way people thought back then. There's nothing you can
Exactly.
do about it.
Yeah, and
Nope.
I think it's very important that people nowadays are able to read about that and learn, you know?
Hmm.
Kind of get an
okay,
understanding of it.
Noble, you were about to say something?
yeah.
Yeah.
In order to understand the other side, to understand why they are basically as they are, you need to read, you need to see their point of view. And while sometimes it may be incredibly sickening and cause you mental distress, unless you understand how, then you have no clue. It's one thing to turn around and say, that person's shoplifting, that person shoplifting, that person shoplifting, when they went to a register at the other end of the store, bought the item, and they're walking to the other exit.
Hmm.
You
That's
can't
an
assume
example. Yeah.
that that person's a shoplifter if they've already paid for it elsewhere out of sight. I mean, you might not be able to see the receipt. They might not have accepted a receipt and just decided to walk out without the receipt. You don't know. So to make the assumption that someone's stealing when they're possibly not, I mean, they could have even brought the item in. But when you decide that instead of asking or notifying someone in the store, you're going to turn around, pounce them to the ground, and start beating the living shit out of them until they're unconscious and possibly dead, just because you
Oh,
think they're
geez.
a bad person.
Mhm.
I don't know about that.
But that's how we
Thankfully,
think
I've
of it.
never had to do such a thing.
Yeah. But again, ultimately, at the end of the day, like there are things you don't like, and like you're not gonna satisfy everyone. We get that. It's just access to information should really not be restricted, even if it's bunch of lies, whatever, or it's just like a bunch of baloney. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like it, and
Propaganda is
like
a fascinating thing.
The fact that they're censoring books is very Nazi-esque. It's so funny how they call like the furry raiders Nazis, even though we're
right.
totally in support of free
But
speech.
here's
And
the
the
thing.
fact that they want
Okay,
to ban these books, like really?
that's that aside. It's a it's a guy. It's a really conservative guy. And look, my only thing is that the slippery slope is that I'm only banking on that. He's using the slippery slope to try. And he's done this on the complaints received by his local community.
Yeah.
To get rid of those LGBT books. And I get that. And I get that. And the slippery slope is pretty much, if anything is to go by, a cautionary tale that's for people like these LGBT pushers. So
Right.
look, it's a very this is a very complicated issue, and again, if there was a solution that's so simple to implement, by all means. But when you try to balance it with like access to information, censorship, and all that, yeah, can of worms.
Also, I
Yeah,
I
totally.
don't necessarily say that this is 100% true to tune article either, because it's from Vice. So I mean, you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
Not
and
everything
remember,
is
like,
Yeah.
included.
and I was about to say because it's Vice, blah blah blah. Furries have they always say furry. They're taking the side of the furries, who say they have little patience for discrimination, and I just basically rolled my eyes at that, like, bitch, please.
Furries are probably the most discriminatory towards each other than any other group of
Yeah,
people on the face of the
exactly.
planet.
I know because God forbids someone like me, a former far leftist liberal, start voting red.
An orange man into the White
Ha.
House.
No, well, unfortunately, yeah, politics have infected the furry fandom for a while. But here at the Raiders, we don't give a flying fuck about that.
I mean,
Not at
Fine,
all.
do we
As long as
discuss
you don't cause
politics?
drama
Yes.
or
No,
frickin'
We try
no,
not to discuss politics.
no, exactly. We don't.
But
We don't care about that.
the
Hell,
thing
as
is,
long as you're a furry, you want to express yourself, that's a beautiful thing.
the
Hell
important thing
yeah.
about apoliticalism is that we have no, we don't throw our weight behind political candidates or parties, and have
Yeah,
no
no way.
political affiliation. That's it.
The thing also is important is that don't go out to cause trouble. Don't try to blow up social taboos. It doesn't end well.
It doesn't. Yeah, you're right. It really doesn't. And Cetacean, it's incredible that you're here right now. Just being able to talk to us, and I, it's just really cool, man.
It's. I mean,
You're like a
obviously,
legit centrist. Like that's freaking awesome.
well, this is basically where I lie when it comes to the economy. I tend to lean more like a center left, something like that, and on most social issues, I do lean for further towards the right, but not super far right, but not entirely center. So I am, but overall, I am quite libertarian.
Hey, that's all right. Yeah, yeah. The furry raiders don't really care about labels, like politically speaking. Like we're just legit fucking furries, bro.
Hmm.
That's really how it is.
So there we go. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's been quite a stretch of time, but we got what we needed to get done, and that's the wrap for the week
Sweet.
in the past.
All
So,
right.
what do you guys think? Who'd like to close up and make a little statement about this week's things and what we've discovered?
Beowulf.
My biggest thing is, sometimes lightning does strike twice. It just happens to be in a specific spot, around sometimes a specific person, or a specific group of people.
All right.
Noble.
I need bleach. I need bleach for my eyes and ears. Maybe a
You
little
say
bit
that
of
all the
brain as
time.
well.
Should we get a truck to deliver it to your house, like a lifetime supply of it?
Possibly,
I mean, some
but
brain bleach would be pretty nice, just to forget specific specific things.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And what
Here's
about
my
you?
closing statement.
Oh, yeah.
If the San Jose Sharks do not beat the Edmonton Oilers, their next the game coming up, this is hockey, by the way, then I will be absolutely pissed. I will take one of my shoes, I will cook it on the grill, and then I will eat it.
Oh. Well, okay.
Then. And Avira.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this show tonight. I totally did. We had some crazy stories. Oh my bonkers, guys. That was cool.
My
And,
bonkas.
Oh my bonkers indeed, right? So what I will say is after this show, I hope you guys check out Wreck-It Raccoon. He's doing a live stream now. I know I'm like plugging his stream or whatever. But
I
he's
think
doing that now.
everybody needs
It's
to be getting into the
live
streaming
furry
game too.
hotline. It's gonna be pretty cool. But guys, I hope that you really loved our show as much as we loved making it. And I hope to see you next week.
Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
hope to be back again.
Yeah, and it seems like everybody seems to be getting onto the streaming. Like it's not just our guys, but also
Yeah,
another
right
shameless
on.
plug. Sharks made her own show called the Coyote Rambles.
Oh, she's incredible. Check that out too. Oh my goodness. I forgot to mention that. Yeah,
Looks like
absolutely.
we're really, our guys are basically getting onto the airwaves.
Oh, she's great. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, and again, as we always say, thank you for tuning in. And as always, our episodes are available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, BitChute, and for more platforms further down the line. This is us signing out for the week. Farewell, and until next time.
Marshmallows
Boop.
for everybody.
Bork, bork, bye bye.